Hey everybody, it's your favorite Hulk Jeremy, here to tell you if you're listening to this as it's coming out, if you're listening to this on the early feed or the day it's released, you are still in time to check out the 2018 Duckstream event. This is where all of the Duckfeed hosts get together. They stream for 48 hours straight, primarily Gary and Cole, but we like to contribute. The rest of us like to contribute. We raise money for a charity called Transactive, which is dedicated to helping trans youths and their families. We've done this for the last few years. We've raised a bunch of money. It's always a really good time. It's always fun to hang out in the chat. This is one of my treats that I get every year. This is one of my most favorite things to do. We talk about what we're going to be doing in the podcast a little bit. For Days of Future Cast, we're going to be covering the Wolverine movie, the one that I have really no memory of besides a giant samurai robot. So whichever one that is, we're going to be doing. So tune in for that. I think that's going to kick off the event, if I remember correctly. So watch social media, watch my Twitter, watch Gary's Twitter, watch Duckfeed.tv, and all of that stuff. But we want you to come out. If you can, donate. If not, spread the word. It's going to be a grand old time. So, without further ado, let's Hulk it up! I'm Jeremy Greer.
And I'm Gary Butterfield.
And this is Days of Future Cast, the podcast where me and Gary Hulk out every week, every other week, and talk about Hulks and Ghost Riders and very strangely voiced children. Gary, how are you? How are you this week?
Little voice. Oh, I've been better. I'm fine. I need the cleansing ray of judgment of Ghost Rider to come and burn away all of my Do you need the Ghost Rider Gamma Ray? Is that what I'm hearing? Do you need to combine these forces? Man, Ghost Rider Gamma Ray.
Yeah, I'm sure that's happened.
I wonder if the Ghost Riders ever become the Hulk.
I mean, like, we're both typing that into Google right now.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see. Yeah, well, there's a Rider Hulk.
Rider Hulk.
Yeah, there is a Ghost.
Yeah,
Rider Hulk. There is a Ghost Rider Hulk. It looks like. The YouTube, the Hulk versus Ghost Rider Hulk. On Hulk Ragnarok, because everybody gets a turn being Hulk. In that Planet Hulk comic, Doctor Strange becomes Hulk at some point. He Hulks out. So
I get it. I mean, like, we should really be asking ourselves who hasn't been the Hulk at this point. And like, I guess we probably have to start at like Barney, the dinosaur.
Yeah.
Barney's never been exposed to
Hulk.
Nightcrawler Hulk would be good. Man, can you imagine
big
like
guy.
Dumb Hulk not understanding his teleportation powers and just like bursting through concrete walls all the time?
Constantly waking up in new places and getting super mad.
Hulk fart. Hulk sorry.
Hulk smell bad.
Hulk hate egg.
Smash egg. It's actually not that impressive to smash an egg, Hulk.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is if you're. I guess apparently that's where we are with the Nightcrawler Hulk, though. Like that's where you're gonna trade some stuff off.
Hulk Crawler is good.
Hulk Crawler.
So yeah, you hire me, Marvel. Like that's what all your crossovers are. Is like, what if everything was anything, or what if anything was everything?
The ghost of Stan Lee is writing you a no prize as we speak right now.
I love it. I'm gonna get it
from Marvel Heaven. Yeah.
Yep, I want to be there. Just me and the greats.
We haven't talked since Stan Lee passed, but I watched a video. I watched two videos after Stan Lee passed. One was like a collection of all of his cameos in the various Marvel films, which was extremely good. Like I recognized most of them, but they were still like it's just so funny what they put him in. Like they always do a really good job with those. And then there's that one video where it's a extended video that's been chopped up of him kind of basically just like just burning Rob Liefeld and
it's amazing.
Oh, who was the other guy?
I love that.
Is
video.
I wanted to say John Carmack. That'd be a completely different video.
No.
Who is the?
It's Todd McFarlane.
Todd McFarlane, like the other John Carmack, the John Carmack of comic books. That's what we call
John. You mean the John Romero of comic books?
Yeah, true. But man, that video is amazing. Just him, like, man, you guys just make up like, why does he have spikes? And Rob Liefeld, kids love spikes.
How does the guy put on his shoes? just Rob Liefeld just kind of pushing through. And the sucky thing about I love that video too, and time has vindicated it. But at the time, Rob Liefeld was right, and those shits sold like gangbusters.
Oh yeah. That's the really depressing thing is like he was totally right on. He had his finger on. He had his belt on the pulse.
His buckle on the pulse
of the youth interest. Culture. Yeah, it was the Rob Liefeld days. Although looking back at that stuff, like I have such a weird appreciation for it now. Like it's not good by any stretch of the imagination, but like some of it I kind of like, which is I don't know where this is. Like maybe I'm just softening up as an old man, but I'm like, oh, okay, I can get behind all these muscles. Like this is goofy in a good way.
Mm-hmm. I have a little bit of affection as well.
Do you want to get into these 2 episodes of the Hulk that we're covering today?
Oh yeah, we're covering 2 episodes as per the usual. We're continuing our Hulk Odyssey. And these are we got a real grab bag going on today. I didn't hate these. Like I find this show, I think I'm just still highway hypnosis from the Avengers, so I find the show really watchable.
Yeah. It's not the Avengers is what I keep like that's my review. It's not the Avengers.
Yeah. It's not the Avengers. Like it's not super good, but it's like it goes by at a reasonable pace. But I would say that these 2 episodes might be my least favorite we've had so far.
Yeah, and I was really excited about this Ghost Rider cameo, which is in the first episode we're going to talk about. But it's he suffers from like a real mumbly voice, which this whole fucking series seems to suffer from. And Ghost Rider is drawn and animated so poorly. Like how do you fuck up a flaming skeleton on a motorcycle to make him look this uncool?
The skull part of him looks extremely flat. Like in the green room I was talking about, it says. So he looks like a Halloween decoration, and that's what he looks like to me. Like, it's just a cartoon skull. And, like, yes, this is a cartoon of a skull, so it has to be a cartoon skull. But it doesn't have to look like a cartoon skull. Like, 2000 AD and shit, like, there are cool skulls that could have been drawn, and this is not one of them. I
would correct that and say, or not correct it, but I would alter that and say it's a clip art skull. That's what this feels like. Like a very, like, over the top, like, the skulls that you would see for Halloween decorations at your local Baptist church, right? Yes. Like safe for Baptist church skulls.
It's like the character of Ghost Rider on this is on loan from a GeoCities Ghost Rider fan page.
But it's like less depth because at least on GeoCities those fuckers would animate. You know what I'm saying? Like it would turn around in a circle.
It just kind of turns. It's funny that we talk about how mumbly it is and stuff too. So I sent you a link in the Slack last night. I don't know if you spent any time on that fan site.
Yeah, I opened it on my phone, and my phone was like, "Are you fucking serious? Like, what are you trying to open right now?" And as you know, I'm way late to recording today, so I didn't get a chance to look at the rest of it on an actual computer.
It's a fan site for this cartoon. It doesn't have very much. It's very old. It's like super GeoCities-y, and it doesn't have very much new information. But it does have an interview that was from the creators of this before this came out, and it's really interesting. So like. This is not a great cartoon, but I think that it is not. I think the people who made it did give a shit, and I think that comes through even in the cartoon. And this interview kind of like sells that. Like they talk about how they're going. They understand that like the real, the king of dark and gritty cartoons is the Batman animated series and like Gargoyles, and they're not going to get to there, but they do. Everything is. They're like no, like this kind of nightmarish tone, like the horror of the Hulk is what we want to get across. Like lots of nighttime. Lots of like drama and everything like that. And you can tell like they mean it. It feels genuine. And it comes through in the cartoon. It just doesn't totally work. Like I think this cartoon might ultimately be better if it were more fun. And that's what they did. That's what the second season is. When it's all She-Hulk going off to fashion shows and shit. Like the second season of the show is going to be bonkers. The first season is them just trying to be very dark and gritty. And I think the kind of mumbly performances are part of that. Like I think they thought that this was what you needed to be like serious.
Oh, weird. At least that gives us a reason for for the like. At least it wasn't just carelessness or just a lack of caring. So at least if they actually did that on purpose, I feel like that's a flawed execution. But at least they had a plan in mind for it, even if it didn't come out right.
That's what it feels like to me. Like, it feels like that was what they went for, and they maybe what they were going for was not worth it, or they did a bad version of it. But it is, and I mean it when I say, like, this cartoon is really weirdly watchable. Like, even if it's not good, and at the end I'm like, nah, yeah. But I do find it goes down pretty effortlessly.
For the first time ever, Autumn was home when I was watching these, and she watched the second episode that we're going to be covering today, and made fun of the voice. And I'll bring up one of the jokes that she made about that because I think it's really funny later. But she said it was like weirdly, she was like, this is way better than that Avengers show. Like, it was like it had a plot, like it had story, like I could follow it along, like everything seemed to, like, it was goofy, like it wasn't good, but like it was reasonably well wrought. And I think that's what I keep coming back to with this. Like, the animation is okay, the voice acting has highs and some very low lows, but everything kind of comes together as a whole relatively well for what I was expecting.
There are plots.
Yeah,
like there are plots, and it doesn't. They're doing like long running plots. Like, I'm kind of disappointed in neither of these episodes we get to check in on our boy, the nutrient bath.
Yes,
I can't wait to hear more from a boy, the nutrient bath. But like nutrient bath's coming back, and we do check in on our the leader and the gargoyle are like recurring villains in this episode. I think that the next episode we're covering, we're covering two. Innocent Blood and Sasquatch. From Man to Man, Beast to Beast. Man to Man, Beast to Beast is very boring, I think.
I do too, yeah. I think
that's the problem with it.
It's kind of like...
Isn't boring, it's just goofy and kind of dumb.
Well, get us into Innocent Blood, my man.
Yeah, man. Innocent Blood, this is written by Richard Trueblood. Oh, what a coincidence there. The True Innocent Blood. And Bob Forward. It's aired on October 6th, 1996. In Chicago, the Hulk is pursued not only by the supernatural anti-hero Ghost Rider, but also Talbot, who has a weapon that may end the Hulk once and for all.
Ooh.
Backdoor pilot.
This was supposed to be a backdoor pilot for a Ghost Rider animated series. Right off the bat, let's talk about the Ghost Rider voice, because it is. I feel like it notably it is voiced by Richard Grieco, known for 21 Jump Street, which I could not believe, because when I went to this dude's Wikipedia page and I went to his like full bio, his nickname is listed as the King of 21 Jump Street, and I was like, well, he had to give that to himself. Like, there's what are you talking about, Richard Grieco? But no, that's actually what he is, I guess.
Well, it could be both. Like, it could be he was in 21 Jump Street, and he said, "Hey guys, can you call me the King of 21 Jump Street?"
Hey,
did you notice?
Can we play a quick game real quick?
Yeah.
I'm going to read you some trivia about Richard Grieco, and I want you to say if it's true or false.
Okay.
I don't know if hopefully you're not still on this page and you haven't actually looked through this yet.
Well, I am, because I was going to say he also does the voice of Ghost Rider in the Marvel vs. Capcom games.
Oh, weird. Yeah,
but I'm not on the trivia page, so.
Just to start off real quick, has a personal collection of over 3,000 DVD films.
I think that sounds true to me. It's plausible.
That's true. Yes.
Okay.
Has a Black Panther tattoo on his shoulder and a clover tattoo on his calf.
Also seems pretty true. A little weird.
I'm just going to read these things because they're so goofy.
Yeah, weird flex, but okay.
Was a model for Armani, Calvin Klein, and Chanel. He definitely
he added that.
Yeah, he definitely added this all to himself.
Trivia. Yeah. He just resume.
Yeah, the rest of these are all very bad. He named his son Dylan Justice, which is kind of strange, but sure, whatever.
Dylan Justice Grieco.
Dylan Justice Sissons, actually, but yeah, absolutely.
No. Pretty weird, and he does not do a good job.
No.
During this, they got a real actor. Usually, that means they're going to do a good job. Don't do a good job. He's real mumbly. He's real like, he's real just kind of low and angry, and they put this effect on his voice that makes him very hard to understand.
I think I can replicate this effect, and if you give me your best Ghost Rider line right now, I'm going to try to make the effect, and I'm going to try to, when I edit this, I'm going to try to post process your voice to sound like Ghost Rider does on the show.
Okay.
The attention is now you're watching.
That's good. I like that. That's short and to the point. I love it.
Yep. And true. So I think about him being so hard to understand is how funny. Like, if this were the Venture Brothers, this would be the joke. is him coming up and like telling you, that you're not innocent, and like, people just going, "What?
Excuse me?
What?
What are you talking about?"
Like, and people just being terrified because he's a flaming skull monster, and he's trying to make a point, and nobody can understand him. So,
I don't want to.
Ghost Rider? Do you like Ghost Rider?
I do. I like Ghost Rider a lot. I read a lot of those comics growing up. He was kind of like a weird, like darker corner of the Marvel universe, which I appreciated. I had watched that Nicolas Cage movie, and then until recently had put it out of my mind that Nicolas Cage played Ghost Rider. And if you can, like, there's a scene on YouTube that's towards the end of that movie that you can look up where he's like riding down the highway, and it is hysterical. Like that, I can't believe I'd forgotten about it because it has to be the most ridiculous movie ever. But more recently, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did Ghost Rider. They did the modern interpretation. That kid whose name I can't remember. He doesn't have a motorcycle
Danny K
anymore,
or whatever.
Yeah.
Not Danny K, that's the guy from the Fallout 3 soundtrack. That's like Danny something.
Yeah, Danny something. But he's a Latino guy, and he drives like a big muscle car, and he has chains. And for whatever reason, like they actually pulled Ghost Rider off in this Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. like techno babble kind of way. And the special effects that they used for him, I thought were really fucking good. Like it was just like they were outstanding for a TV show. So I like Ghost Rider a lot. There was that weird run of, was it the new Fantastic Four, where it was like Ghost Rider and Spider-Man and Hulk and probably the Human Torch still, because he can't get another job. But no, guys, I come with the building.
Team up? Yeah.
I'm still here. I don't have another place to live like everybody else does. What about you? Are you into it?
Yeah. I read some in the night. I never really did any modern visits of him. Like, I remember, it makes sense that there would be a backdoor pilot for him because he was so ridiculously huge in the 90s. Like, Ghost Rider was a thing. Like, I read Ghost Rider 2099, and I read, like, X-Men crossovers. Like, that Gambit and Ghost Rider crossover where they go to New Orleans is something we'll have to do something with at some point. Big Trouble in the Brood Easy. The Brood Easy. Or Brood Trouble in the Big Easy, not Big Trouble in the Brood Easy, which is like way better. I had to punch up your names there, Scott Lobdell, but
the Brood Easy is what everybody called my mom.
Brood Easy, gross. But yeah, I'm pretty agnostic to Ghost Rider. I like him in the video games. I like him in Ultimate Alliance. You can get him, and that's pretty fun.
Yeah, I'm into that.
Yeah, it's weird. He has the same superpower that Man Thing has. Like, all those who know fear, like, burn at the touch of Man Thing, and like Ghost Rider has that, like, the retribution, the penance stare that he has. So he can, and that's how he like fought Galactus off and shit. Like, he's kind of a big deal, and I think it's weird. Like, maybe it's time for him to come back in the comics because I feel like they haven't dusted him off in a while.
Yeah, I haven't. I need to stress. I haven't read any modern day Ghost Rider. Probably 2099 is the last thing that I read of them because I was when 2099 was coming out. I was like, oh fuck, this is the coolest shit in the world. I'm 13. Yeah. This is great.
The cover was really good, man. The cover of #1 with the metal skull.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's a really good cover. That's cool.
I wonder if I have those. I need to go and dig into my comics and see what I have and just fucking chuck the rest because I can get them out of my garage.
So this starts off. There's this like fire going on. This like graveyard, this explosion. Things are just kind of, there's chaos. It's nighttime. You can't really see what's going on. And a dude in a motorcycle shows up at this point, and we find out this is Rick Jones. Rick Jones talks to a guy, a firefighter, and the firefighter is like, "Forget it, kid. There isn't nothing here. Nothing for nobody. Nothing's left." Like the firefighter really does some exposition for a little while, and we find out that the Hulk leveled this town. Yeah. And
then we see Rick rides off, and then a second motorcycle dude shows up, and then turns himself into the Ghost Rider, and then and basically just runs Rick off the road. But before he gets run off the road, he looks up, sees that there's a guy on fire riding a motorcycle behind him, and says, "Wait, someone's on fire! I better help him!" Because Rick is
very funny. Do you think that happens to Ghost Rider all the time?
Yeah, it has
people are
to, right?
Throwing blankets on him and like putting him out with fire extinguishers and like.
How many times has he like ridden by a fire station? They were like, "Oh wow, this is an unexpected test," but I think we're good. I think I'm ready.
The boss sent somebody down from corporate to test me. just look up and they see dollar signs in their eyes.
We got this. He runs Rick Jones off the road, and we get like this. He's running off. He falls off a bridge, and like it cuts to commercial, like Rick Jones is going to die, and I was just like cheering. I was like, "Thank God!" 5 episodes in, we're killing Rick Jones off. I can't wait. But no, he saves him at the last minute, which like makes me question why he bothered at all.
Why he bothered to run him off the road? And he saves him with his like prehensile chains.
Yeah, that had to hurt.
Whip the chain down and lift him up. He like puts the chain down, and then the chain lifts him up like one of Dr. Octopus's tentacles.
It's a real Gwen Stacy situation about to happen right there.
Snap. And then he just kind of like dismisses Rick Jones, and Rick Jones is like, "Whoa," because that's Rick Jones. And he says, "That's the face that launched 1,000 ghost ships."
Excuse me?
Says, "Oh, you mean like, yeah, okay."
Rick, are you okay?
What does Rick Jones remember about Greek history?
I would love to quiz Rick Jones about Greek history. I don't even know anything about Greek history. I'll just make up shit and see what he says about it.
Yeah, just what his little numbers are about it. So Rick Jones. What are the chances Rick Jones finished high school?
Honestly, I mean, we keep saying Rick Jones, but I would like to question Luke Perry on his history with Greek history. You know what I'm saying? Luke, tell me what you think about Hermes. What do you think happened there?
Enough Greek history, more Greco history. I want to see what he says about Greco history and Greco mythology. Greco mythologio.
So from there we go to Banner, who is in a soup kitchen in Chicago, talking into this personal recorder. Gary, this is personal recorder is going to be like a serious thing for the next 2 episodes, and I have to just ask the question now: like, where does it go when he's the Hulk? Is this because he has it
as the Hulk?
But I mean,
he has pants.
But you got to imagine, like, there's like see those pictures of somebody who like had an iPhone in their pocket and they bring it out and it's curved now because they set weird or something. Like you've seen those. That personal recorder is not holding up to a Hulk pocket. That's all I'm saying.
That's true. That's true. That's 100% true. His shirt comes back sometimes too, or he's just constantly buying shirts.
He just has there's just like a hidden. You think Hulk has a pouch that we don't know about, like under his 6-pack? Like he's got a 6-pack, like a protected pouch, like a kangaroo.
Sure, like a human pocket,
like a little Hulk pocket.
Yeah. I think it's probably true.
Oh, it's so gross in there, Gary. It's so gross.
Yeah, no, it's probably really mucusy.
It's just so juicy in there.
Yeah, and even if it's not juicy with like just nondescript Hulk water, like it's definitely juicy with sweat.
Oh yeah, Hulk sweat. And I mean, you gotta imagine Hulk has like the impulse control of like a 3-year-old. So there's probably like some candy bars that have been in there for a little while. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like he just goes to a grocery store and just grabs a bunch of Skittles.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Like just so he's in a soup kitchen, so he can't weirdly enough, like I don't know if I really put this together, but the Hulk is extremely poor. I don't know whether that makes me feel better that I make more money than the Hulk, but like the Hulk is extremely poor, and he's talking about he's in this town. People were there and kind of gave him a hard time. He warned them not to make him angry, but they did make him angry, so he destroyed everything they own and love.
Good job.
Good job.
Picturing what the Hulk's Patreon tiers would be if this was set in a modern day. $5 Hulk does not visit your zip code.
Hulk stays out of your, and as you go up, so you can get him to stay out of your hemisphere for like the $1,000 a month tier. Hulk just go to Venezuela. So that's actually in bad taste. I forgot that an actual disaster happened in Venezuela. I was just pulling that as a random country that's far away from here, and then didn't put together like actually they had a huge disaster, and I'm not trying to make light of that. The Hulk didn't cause that hurricane. I know.
No,
don't at me.
Please don't add us on Twitter about Venezuela.
That was just me pulling a random country.
I am way undereducated about that. Let's say Genosha. We can go safe with Genosha.
That's smart. Yeah, Genosha's way better. So the nun comes up and says like, here's some coffee for you. You're a good guy. You can stay as long as you like. She goes back and then just like, what a flimsy kitchen this is. It's just like something falls on something else and causes an explosion. Like it is the most fragile kitchen that's ever been.
I was really confused by this because I don't know if this was the animation or like the shitty rips that I'm watching during this, but like underneath like the coffee pot or the pot that's cooking, like there's this purple flame that comes out, and I was like, oh, somebody like goosed the flame to do this. Like this is somebody trying to get Hulk to turn. But that doesn't go anywhere. Nobody ever, like, I figured, like, the leader may be trying to, like, get him to Hulk out so he can capture him or something. But nope.
Yeah.
That's not it either. That's just a real shitty kitchen in the soup kitchen, man.
Super shitty kitchen. Making bad soup. So this causes a huge explosion. The nun is going to die. She's, like, calling for help. Hulk runs up to help, or Bruce Banner runs up to help her, in general, as Bruce Banner, but a beam falls on him and turns him into the Hulk. And the Hulk goes to go help the nun, but Ghost Rider thinks that Hulk is going to summarily execute her, and just immediately stops, like drops himself between the two of them. Like, you cannot help this lady.
The animation on this, we gotta talk about this, Gary, because like he ramps his motorcycle somehow and then falls like at just a straight 90-degree angle in between the two. It's just so, like he's falling from the ceiling somehow. It's like
he does a
great.
butt slam like he's Wario.
Exactly. Yeah,
90 degrees down.
He butt cycles his way into this conversation,
and he like Wario. And we also have to talk about when he blasts the Hulk. What happens to the Hulk? Like, he shoots fire at the Hulk, which causes the Hulk to fly backwards as if the Hulk has no weight. Like, the second time he blasts him when he goes outside, this happens in just a second, but he blasts him up over a building, and the Hulk just goes, like, ass over tea kettle, like, like way up into the sky after getting, like, barely tapped.
Look, Ghost Fire does not obey Newton's laws of physics, Harry. I don't know how you didn't get educated in this and when they were teaching you Newton's law of physics, but that's they told us down in Louisiana public school
Greco's
systems.
Laws of physics.
Greco's laws of physics.
So it's just like him just zapping Hulk, and Hulk gets really mad. He doesn't seem that hurt. He's just being pushed away. He gets real mad, So Ghost Rider saves the nun. And some helicopters show up. Hulk says, "I'm not going to smash those guys." And then we cut over to Betty and Samson. We're working on this trank ray.
Yeah. And Samson basically says, like, "Hey, we don't really got this yet. Like, when we try to test this thing, it doesn't work." And
he specifically says, "What is it about gamma irradiated blood that makes it react so badly to tranquilizers?" Just to nobody in particular. It's like, come on, you fucking nerd. Like, what is it about that? Don't you hate it when this happens?
And very specifically, like they have fucked up this trank ray so bad that it actually kills the Hulk. Like, they're worried about it's going to be lethal.
Yeah.
So they're like, maybe we need to change the brief here somehow.
Yeah. Maybe we need to go back to our old pal, the nutrient bath. Don't try this new way when we got the perfectly good nutrient bath right over there in the corner.
And of course, our favorites, General Ross and Glenn Talbot, show up, and
Toady, yeah.
General Ross is like, "I need that trank ray," and Betty's like, "Can't have it." And he's like, "Oh, Betty, I guess I can't have it. Why don't you guys go work on a new cage for the Hulk?" And then they turn around, they walk 2 steps, and he's like, "Grab the trank ray. We got to go."
Get Talbot. We're going to execute the Hulk. And Talbot is just like amazing in this, where he's like, "It's very lethal, General," and Talbot's like, "Sounds like it's working according to plan." He's just like rubbing his hands together, like just like just shamelessly rubbing his crotch, just pulling out his picture, like his fan art of dead Hulk.
It's extremely hilarious to me that Talbot has such like a hard on for killing the Hulk. Like they don't really explain it. Like, Talbot's like, he's not like, I know the Hulk has endangered America or whatever, but like, dude, calm down. Like, just dial it down a little bit.
It is the worst fetish too. If you could only come when the Hulk dies, like what a terrible life that would be.
Oh man, he's gonna be really bummed when Tumblr changes their policies.
Hulk,
you can't get any
Hulk.tumblr.
Hulk Snuff. Hulk Snuff film. .com.
Snuff.tumblr.com. But like, just can you imagine like edging your entire life,
Jesus,
for this one moment? Like, it is just like an edge, the likes of which the universe has never seen. This is some like 10th level Sting Tantra stuff that like Talbot is just really, really trying to get it, and he goes for it in this episode. We'll see that later.
And while all of this is happening, the leader is still watching. Matt Frewer puts in another really good performance, I think, as the leader, of just being like a cackling maniac.
Well, I think he's foreshadowing pretty much.
Yeah.
It doesn't have too much to do with what happens in this episode. I mean, it does a little bit, but it's not. He's not the main star of it. He's just
no. We just get a couple of clips of him, but we get so much like character development. Like, the Gargoyle is still there, and he's still just like, "You got to fix up this lab." And Gargoyle's like, "This used to be my lab. I shouldn't have to do anything." Like, he's just all pissed off. And there's at one point where he's like, "I bet you're gonna cackle and say the leader will prevail," and like it cuts over to the leader. It's like, "The leader will prevail."
Yeah,
or what? I don't know what the words are. But
something like that. Yeah. So we cut back to the soup kitchen. The nun says, no, the Hulk was there. I think he was actually trying to help me. And Rick Jones smells more of the smell. Man, there's a weird line because he smells brimstone.
Yeah.
Earlier on, and he says something like, or as and I can't remember exactly what he says, like, or as the something says, sulfur.
Oh, I thought I had written it down in here. Or as the good book at the orphanage says, is what he said.
The good book at the orphanage says salt. It's really weird. Like, what does that mean, dude? Did fucking Luke Perry hit his head?
I must have missed the sulfur section in the, you know what I'm saying? In the good book at the orphanage.
The good book at the orphanage, that old expression. So he smells that thing again, so he knows the Ghost Rider's about. A group of helicopters are chasing the Hulk around Chicago. Hulk is throwing mailboxes at them, just standard Hulk stuff.
Yeah.
Glenn shows up and says, "Hey, helicopters, get out of here by order of the United States Army. We're gonna trank this Hulk." And
Betty, of course, has now figured out that this is happening and is like very mad at General Ross that she's that they stole the trank ray, and he apologized to her. And I think it's at this scene where they just get weirdly intimate with one another, where she like leans over and like touches his face and they hug. Yep. And I know there's a lingering hug thing happening. Like, I know it's a a father-daughter thing, and like there's some intimacy there, and I'm not saying that there shouldn't be, but it's a little weird.
It was like there shouldn't be.
I mean, you can be close. You can be close to your dad. I get it.
Not this close. Like, it is really weirdly intimate.
I used to know a family who would massage their parents' feet, and I always thought that was extremely weird.
I think it's weird too.
Yeah, don't
touch your parents.
We'd all be like sitting around in the living room, like watching a movie, and like they would just like massage their dad's foot, and I was like, that's just, man, I don't want to do the Pulp Fiction routine here, but like that's kind of an intimate thing. I'm like 15-year-old Jeremy trying to figure out his foot thing, right?
Yeah, it's like trained behavior too. It's just fucking weird.
Very strange.
Yeah. So, boy, they kind of make up, Betty and the General.
Yeah.
Rick is trying to get to the Hulk to calm him down and stuff. So he's going past the police barricades. Ghost Rider's hot pursuit, and Hulk is like ended up in this junkyard. There's all these cats, around and like are scared of the Hulk because the Hulk is a monster demon. Ghost Rider is going to go in, and Rick stops him and says like, "Hey, he's innocent." And Ghost Rider is doing his whole like,
the innocent have nothing to fear. I only punish the guilty.
Thing. And they just kind of go back and forth. Like, Rick saying, no, Hulk is actually innocent. It's the people chasing him that are guilty. And Ghost Rider saying, no, Hulk destroys towns. And Ghost Rider is right about this, but that the show doesn't want us to think that. The show wants us to think Rick is right.
Yeah.
So.
This also, like, Rick tries to prove his point by like reaching over and grabbing the bike, and it doesn't hurt him, which the Ghost Rider is surprised at. He's like, "Oh wait, you must be your heart must be pure. Get on the back, little buddy. Just gonna jump on." I mean, it's just a straight line from you touched my bike to now you ride my hog. You know what I'm saying?
Log on. Rick logs on, and they ride off into the sunset. We never see them again.
That's the end of the episode. We'll be back. Yep. Patreon.com/. Yeah. Anyway.
So Hulk is just being sad in this graveyard. The leader says, "Hey, Gargoyle, use your drones to go get some of the Hulk's hair." Glenn shows up with that trank ray, and then Hulk jumps up and
before we get too far, like the Gargoyle is like kind of just like, oh, I guess I'll do that, like moving the joysticks, and like we see the drone fly, and Hulk just smashes it out of the air without a care in the fucking world. Like,
yeah, it's real good. Actually, it's super good.
So now Glenn shows up with the trank ray. Sorry, I just really like that moment where he smashed the drone.
Yeah, no, it's very good. So Hulk sees this. He jumps up and he grabs the helicopter. And Ghost Rider and Rick show up just in time to see Hulk crash through this building. Presumably had people in it. And again, just kind of proving Ghost Rider's side of the argument. And Hulk finds this picture. He finds a framed picture of a redhead. And
he looks at it and says, "Not Jean."
Yeah. Exactly. Can you imagine it? Yeah, it's not Cyclops wasn't just, say what you will about Cyclops, but at the very least it had to be Jean Grey. It couldn't just be anybody. Hulk is not smart or good.
Could be just a blonde area with points or whatever from Arrested Development.
Like, all it takes is a mannequin for Hulk to calm down. Just like, yeah, anything.
Hulk think it was cold at Mannequin Factory.
So this is starting him to calm down. Betty and Samson are also on the way because the trank ray has been stolen. Glenn sneaks up behind the Hulk with the trank ray, and Ghost Rider's heading into. We're getting towards our kind of climax, but the end of this episode is very weird, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nothing big really happens. So Hulk is de-hulking. He's saying Betty over and over, remembering Betty and turning back into Banner, and Glenn shoots him, which gets him mad, turns him back into Hulk.
And then Ghost Rider shows up. Glenn shoots him again, and this pisses Hulk off enough to start destroying everything. And he literally is going to bring down this entire building. And Ghost Rider like grabs Glenn to get him out there. Betty and Samson show up on the helicopter, and while Ghost Rider is like has a hold of Glenn, he looks into his soul and realizes like, oh, you're the person that wronged the Hulk. But like we get like a montage of shit that Glenn has done that's not right.
Yeah, you're the webmaster of hulksnuff.tumblr.com. Like you're the one who has the problem here. So the
Ghost Rider's gonna report you, Glenn.
The building is collapsing on to Banner. Rick is trying to dig him out, but he can't. Ghost Rider comes up and says gives everyone in this show plays with fire constantly with the Hulk. Like everyone, it is just by the grace of good luck that the Hulk does not pick them up and twist their heads off. You know, because it's like everyone is constantly like getting him mad and being around him when he's furious and amnesiac and all these things. And Ghost Rider says like, "Hey, you're the key." That's all he says is, "You're the key to this." Rick Jones immediately understands what he means, weirdly enough, and pretends to be in trouble to kind of get the Hulk mad enough to get out.
Which is, Hulk, help! I'm in trouble. Is Rick's version of that, which is really hilarious.
Later,
to me.
They do like really good acting. Like here, it's kind of shitty. And then later, like Betty just shows up and cries on command here in a moment. Like,
I feel like Betty is 2 seconds away from a full mental breakdown, and at a given point of her day,
it's pretty. Yeah, she's in a rough situation here. So Hulk comes out, attacks the Ghost Rider, but he can't. He doesn't really have it in him. He's been tranked. Glenn is freaking out because Samson mentions he used the full shot on him.
Yeah.
So it's enough. The Hulk won't die from this, but if he turns back into Banner, he will die.
Yep.
Because he's got too much tranquilizer in him. And Glenn almost for a moment feels like a moment of guilt here. So I know that's going to be a turn in his character, but there's a line where he says something like, I'm responsible for this. Like he says it in this real, like, serious voice.
Presumably, like his soul gaze with, the Ghost Rider has brought some shit up to light and like put some stuff in stark relief for him.
It'd be cool if that is followed up on. Like if the next time he shows up, he's just like rubbing his dick and talking about the Hulk dying, it's going to be frustrating. But if he comes back and he's actually like, no, I've learned something, that'll be actually pretty interesting.
So at this point, what is it? Ghost Rider does some shit. Like he does some. Oh, that's right. Ghost Rider kind of attacks it. Like he wraps him up in his chains. Yeah. His motorcycle starts doing wheelies in a circle around them. It's real fucking weird.
This is the long, bizarre segment of everyone trying to keep the Hulk mad.
Which I guess is like, if you're writing this, I guess like this is probably like what you would like. I bet a writer thought they were very clever for this. Of like, well, the whole thing is you don't want to make him mad. What if we made it so you had to keep him mad at all? Like the execution is a little lacking.
Speed
but
3,
exactly. Yeah,
the Hulk goes below a certain level of mad.
Crank 4. Jason Statham is the Incredible Hulk.
The Incredible Statham. I watch Statham Hulk.
I would actually watch Statham Hulk, Gary, with no question. Like if you got like a real slick director, like if Guy Ritchie in his prime doing that shit, I'd probably be into that.
Yep. Or like Hulk Wick. I'd watch Hulk Wick. So the way he's making him mad is by doing wheelies around him. And at one point he sets his bike to do it by itself, and he goes inside the circle.
Yeah,
I didn't know his bike had a remote control like that.
I mean, I guess if it's a ghost bike, like you just got to tell the ghost what to do, right?
I don't understand the rules of this. They're fighting. Banner turns back into Hulk, and it's fight. So Ghost Rider takes a turn, then kind of backs off. Samson comes up and fights the Hulk. I like seeing Doc Samson do some some actual superhero stuff.
I like that Samson took the time to change out of his lab gear to his ridiculous fucking outfit. Yeah. Jesus, what is this?
His pajamas, his weird pajama shirt.
One of my least favorite costume designs in any superhero thing ever.
Pirate.
is when you have like the huge, like muscled up, like neck and chest muscles happening, and then that giant head hole. It's not a V neck, but it's like it's a straight up like huge O around, like it dips into their back sometimes. I hate that design, and it's definitely what it's almost down to the nipple line. You know what I'm saying? It's low.
The bottom of a shirt being the top of a shirt.
Exactly. You know? He has his shirt on upside down because he's an upside down man compared to everybody else.
It's just a tube, just this weird tube that you wear. It's also whenever a superhero just wears a shirt, I'm like a little bit like, come on. Like, yes, it's a special shirt with a weird neck hole, but like, you can do better than just a t-shirt.
Yeah, Luke Cage, what the fuck are you doing? Step it up.
I think Luke Cage's the costume's not good. Just wearing a t-shirt. It's like, come on, dude. I mean, it kind of works for Luke Cage, but step it up. So Ghost Rider joins in. They're fighting. Hulk is getting more mad, so he wins, and he starts wanting to go to sleep. And then Betty and Rick come in at this point and just start talking about how the Hulk has ruined their lives, and they don't love him, and they never loved him. And it's really weirdly emotionally harsh.
It gets extremely real, extremely quick. I was not prepared for them just to go to fucking town on him. Like this is like any scene that you see. Like I put in the notes Old Yeller, but like this is exactly like anytime you see like you have to go away, I don't want you here, little pet, and the pet like slithers off even though he loves the boy and the boy loves. You know what I'm saying? Like I think this happened in How to Train a Dragon, and I'm kind of getting emotional about it right now. So I'm just gonna dial this down. Maybe I don't want to talk about it.
It's very mean, and Betty just like, it's like they didn't really talk about it. Betty just immediately comes up like, she had this shit in the pocket. Like she has rehearsed this speech before she knew she had to make the Hulk mad. Like, cause she's not wrong. Like the Hulk is destroying everyone's life. Like, that's all Betty does. Like literally her entire life is about fighting with her dad for the Hulk. That is her number one. Like she sleeps, she eats, and she fights with her dad about the Hulk.
And presumably she has really interesting and awesome sex with Samson. Like I'm hoping that's like the one good part of her life. Yep. I got you here so that you could bang me silly so I could forget about all this other stuff in my life.
Yep. Because you can't have sex with the Hulk, but I bet you Bruce Banner's no good in bed.
Oh, he's so nervous about turning into the Hulk the entire time.
Exactly.
He can't keep it up.
Like he's got like Hulk ED, like he's got Hulk erectile dysfunction.
He's got HED.
And like so
now there's a Venn diagram between the members of Korn and Hulk. Both have HED.
Corn Hulk. I would watch Corn Hulk. I'd go watch that band.
No friends.
Hulk doesn't want to do. So Hulk gets really mad, and he destroys some more stuff, and he's real mad. He says he has no friends. They try to tell him the truth. They're like, no, we were just kidding. We just wanted to make you mad.
Yeah, haha. Thanks, Nelson. Yeah. This is a good joke.
Psych. Psych, you haven't ruined our lives. And of course Hulk doesn't buy it, because one thing about Hulk is Hulk not smart. Like they're expecting a level of sophistication of Hulk that is unreasonable for Hulk.
Hulk, understand irony.
Yeah, Hulk do not get schemes. That's one thing I even know about the Hulk, and I've never met him. So he just says, I leave, and just jumps away. So that's the end of the Hulk in this episode.
And Ghost Rider, Betty's feeling pretty bad about this whole situation, as you might imagine. And Ghost Rider comes up and is like, no, I've looked into the Hulk, and he's good, and you guys did a good thing here. Like you had to do a hard thing, but it was good for the heart.
The monster will heal, or something like that.
Yeah, and I was like, Jesus Christ, like what?
Cool, dude. Like how much you not like patronize us, Like, so then the leader did get some hair somehow in this. Like one of the drones worked.
Yeah.
And then at the end, like he's gonna make a bunch of. He's like, Hulk, you're gonna be a father. So like, looking forward to that, man.
Cannot wait for little tiny Hulks. Cannot wait for Gargoyle to be like changing Hulk diapers all around the whatever cave lab that they're in. That's gonna be really good.
Way into it. Way into it. So definitely got to see that.
And then the last scene is Hulk kind of sitting up on a tower somewhere, like next to a stone gargoyle, and he just looks at the gargoyle and is like, "Stone lucky, no hurts."
That's so funny to me.
So good.
That is just like so weird.
I mean, he doesn't get irony or like emotional complication or anything, but he definitely understands not having any friends or when your friends hurt you. Like it's really
like, it's not like you ruined my life isn't that complicated. You ruined my life and I hate you. So.
Damn. Luke Perry, man. Dial it down.
So we find out immediately where he ran off to. So next episode, Man to Man, Beast to Beast, written by other people, Tom Tataranowicz and Len Wein. Len Wein is a real writer. Looks like a guy who has done comics and stuff. This aired October 27th, 1996. This is a couple weeks later, actually. Took a little break. While in Canada, Banner meets up with a colleague, Walter Langowski, who he believes might be able to help him of ridding himself of the Hulk. But Langowski has a secret of his own.
So yeah, I guess I want to. This whole episode, I think, like you said, it was boring. It doesn't do anything unpredictable at all. Like every single beat of this plot, like I saw coming from the moment that you meet any of the characters. Like we're very quickly going to meet a young kid, and other than this kid's voice, it's exactly what I imagined throughout the entire episode. Like you could see it coming a mile away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is very by the beats. Extremely by the beats.
We start out in the with Banner recording himself again, explaining to the audience that he's going to go see this dude Walter, and that he's trying to find a cure for the Hulk again. But he also says something happened along the way, and he hulked out and left a trail of destruction behind him. And I kind of like this as just a general thing. Like we're going to start out every episode with Banner kind of regretting the thing that we didn't see happen. Like that's nice.
I like that too. It's a budget consideration, but it's actually kind of nice, you know. Because they have to. Yeah, I mean, I've said this since the first episode of this, but they have to sell the stakes of the Hulk.
Yeah,
like the show would be bad if the Hulk was just pure, noble, and never hurt anybody. Like he hurts tons of people. Like the Hulk,
it's a bad guy. Like as much as
he is ruining these lives.
That's actually one thing that I have. That's a big problem I have with these two episodes. Is like the Hulk on more often than not. Even when the Hulk Banner gets mad and turns into the Hulk is like, "Oh, I got to protect this dog," and I'm like, "Come on, you're the Hulk. What are you doing? Kill the dog and eat the dog and leave." Okay, that's what we expect for you to do. Anyway. Everyone's playing with fire all the time.
Yeah. So he's recording this. He's going to the Canadian wilderness to find this colleague. And he's Banner. He's trying to get on his way there to this village before he freezes to death. So like he walked to Canada. Like he hulked there, but he couldn't stop and get on a plane or something. It's very weird.
I mean, Chicago to Canada is what, like 10 Hulk jumps? 12?
I felt like he just couldn't stay as the Hulk. I don't really understand why we ever have Banner freezing in the middle of the wilderness in the beginning of this episode. Like, it's pretty weird.
Hulk got to Canada, was like, this is really pretty and calming. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
it's too beautiful.
Weed is legal here now. Let me get some of that weed.
Yeah, Hulk love green.
You got any of that gamma weed?
Yeah. So he's trying to get into this village before he dies. He falls off this mountain, falls in this frozen lake, onto it and then into it. He's like trying to get out. He almost gets out, but he turns into the Hulk. He has to turn into the Hulk to escape. Once he gets out, there's this like little dog that comes up to him and says hi. And one of the annoying things about this episode is the you're supposed to think this is cute music.
Yep.
That plays constantly over the dog and kid.
Mm-hmm.
And it is an anime dog. Like the dog has really big, weird eyes that it doesn't fit in with the art style of the rest of the cartoon. Leads him to this house, and Hulk looks into the house and sees a family. And Hulk can realize he has no family. He's an orphan. And Hulk alone.
Hulk alone. Like it's one of those moments that's really buried in the audio mix too. I had to rewind it like once to make sure he was saying Hulk alone, but he definitely does mumble like while he watches this very happy, normal ass nuclear family, like Hulk alone. Like it's really funny to me. The kid comes out to like go play with his dog in the snow and sees the Hulk, and for some reason like does not seem freaked out. He's just like, "Who are you? Are you a Sasquatch? I'm going Sasquatch hunting." And I'm like, "Kid, this is a giant green monster. Like I don't know if you've been eating the peas that this dude is on the can of, so you're just not afraid anymore, but he's very tall. Like you should run away."
Yeah, this kid, and we got to talk about this kid's voice.
Oh my god,
because we talked about it a little bit, but like. So he's got this very kind of scratchy, high pitched voice.
Mm-hmm.
His part he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do that, Hulk." Yeah. Like it's this very weird. Like it's very hard to explain.
It's the and I'll cut some of it in. But it's and I looked it up because Autumn said it sounds like it sounds like a woman like trying to do a kid's voice very badly, and it is. Yes. It's the same voice actress that plays the kid's mom, trying to do this kid's voice. Autumn also said it reminded her of Snuggly the Crow from Dark Souls.
Oh, sure.
I think it's very much like that.
Yeah, that's not wrong. I don't hate that.
Hulk, keep me warm. Hulk, keep me warm.
Yeah, give me green, give me big. Yeah, it's extremely weird, and this kid is going to be a major character, and it kind of sucks.
Yes,
like
absolutely.
In this thing, So the dad comes out, and of course yells for help. Like the dad again is kind of presented as like he shouldn't be scared, but of course he should be scared.
Of course you should be scared. It's the fucking Hulk.
Everybody comes out with pitchforks and starts attacking the Hulk because he's the Hulk. Like, I mean, again, he destroys villages. It's what he does. The dog tries to stop one of the villagers because the dogs can see into Hulk's pure soul.
I mean, that's what you do with anime eyes, right? That's the way anime eyes work.
Yep, they can see into pure souls. That's why it's such a pure medium. With nothing impure. So Hulk starts smashing everything because the dog gets hurt. He like destroys this snowmobile and then this bulldozer. Like, they're just going out of their way to not have him just rip people in half, which is what I feel like the Hulk would really do.
This dozer scene is very funny to me because I don't know if you've ever been around a dozer like this, but like they don't get up more than 10 miles an hour max. Like they don't make those things for speed. So just imagining the Hulk standing there while this guy just ambles down a driveway at the Hulk with this giant machine. And eventually, of course, the Hulk just picks it up and throws it away because it's going, 10 miles an hour.
Yeah. And because he's the Hulk and that's, it wasn't going to do anything to the Hulk.
No, not at all. It's not a gamma dozer.
Yeah, I like gamma dozer. It's really good. Sounds like a monster truck. So Hulk jumps away to go find his friend. We switch over to Ross and Gabriel. So if you recall, Gabriel's the S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, where they have this weird, verbal tete-a-tete back and forth. And he's just like, hey, Ross, there's 8 sightings of the Sasquatch. I bet you wish you can go to Canada, but the United States government isn't cleared, but S.H.I.E.L.D. is. Ooh, I'll get you sometime. Well, your red, white, and blue ass doesn't get there. Like, they're just doing this, like, sassing each other back and forth about how one of them can go to Canada and the other one can't. And Betty comes up and is like, Dad, like, Hulk isn't in Canada. Just because there's sightings of the Sasquatch doesn't, like, do these people not know this? Like, there's a major thing that separates a Sasquatch from a Hulk.
Yeah, fur. And
yeah.
I don't
it's
think
only one of the most famous films of all time, like the Bigfoot, thing. Like everyone has seen that. We all know what a Bigfoot looks like.
Also, when I talked about like that weirdly intimate scene, I think this is the one that I think it came out here and not on the last episode. But like it's a lot of like Betty and her dad just hugging for a little bit too long for my taste. Like, you guys break that up. Let the Holy Ghost in between there.
But the caressing.
Yeah,
caressing happens.
Very, very awkward and weird. So we go back to the village, and the dad tells the kid, like, you can't, no more hunting Sasquatch. You got to go inside. You don't do this. And of course the kid's
no more
like,
hunting Sasquatch, kid.
Yeah, and the kid's like, well, he didn't tell us we couldn't look for Sasquatch. Like, how fucking old are you weird voiced little child?
You're trying to semantic your dad into like, into not getting in trouble. Like, first of all, you look like you're like 4. You shouldn't be hunting Sasquatch. Like, I get that it's like a little kid. He's being precocious and stuff, but just being like, he didn't technically say, like, I'm not actually standing on the ground. I'm standing on my shoes. My shoes are standing on the ground. Like, this kid's a horrible little shit. So he's going to go looking for Sasquatch.
Of course he is.
Hulk turns back into Banner and collapses, and is found by a Sasquatch. Like this, we see a Sasquatch that picks him up and drags him away. And which I kind of wish they had done this differently, because anyone who knows the comics knows who Walter Langowski is, but it would have been kind of cool if they played it as a twist,
Yeah.
Like, we immediately just know that he's a Sasquatch.
Oh, of course. I mean, he's got like weird fur. He's got the weird like saber-tooth chops at some point, I think. Like he looks like a human Sasquatch already. So
yeah, they just don't play it. Having the Sasquatch find him it just like gets rid of the mystery, I feel like.
Yeah. So Banner wakes up on this table. He's with Walter, who's been like listening to his tape recorder and like, oh, I know why you're here. You're like, you called me a genius. And Banner, for some reason, is pissed off that he listens to the tape recorder. And I'm like, what are you making these records for, dog? Like, what are you?
And just this is really worth. This is all you said in the tape recorder was what you were going to ask this guy.
Yeah, you did. I mean, like,
there's no secrets on there.
Is the Hulk recipe for banana bread in there? You just don't want to get that shit out.
No.
Hulk used turmeric.
Excellent. Ling has been monitoring the Hulk's movements, so he knew he was coming here. He says, no, I've been actually monitoring the Hulk this whole time. I learned a little bit about this mystery of gamma radiation on humans, and I think I can reverse it. I can cure the Hulk. And they start doing the science stuff, and this part kills me. I got so bored and checked out here, where he's like, the key is this stuff called blue ice.
Yeah.
This rare like science ice that only exists in Canada, and I'm like, what? You know, I don't care about this special ice that only exists in Canada that makes science happen. Like, this is dumb.
Yeah, I can get cheese and gravy on French fries down here too. Canucks, calm down.
Yeah, I'm out. Like, just, you know, too much. You know, just make him be a scientist. Like, making it be magic ice is just dumb to me.
And of course, as he's explaining the blue ice, he gets a headache and like runs out, and is basically like, and locks Bruce in the lab, and is like, I feel weird. You stay here. Like, of course, that's what's going to happen.
Weird.
Back in the village, like they're all piling on their snowmobiles and getting their pitchforks oiled or whatever you do to pitchforks, and the mom is like, hey, the kid is missing, and the dad is like, I'm sure he's around. No worries.
Yeah,
I got a Hulk business to attend to, woman. Leave me alone.
We're hunting Sasquatch. It's super weird. Very funny. The kid and his dog are tracking the Hulk's tracks, or something. They don't know what it is exactly. And Banner, who's locked in this room, starts reading through Walter's material. Walter didn't guess this could happen.
Fucking hypocrite. He was all pissed off when it was his stuff.
Well, yeah. And also, like, what did the Sasquatch think, like, locking him in here with all of his logs and science, you know?
Yeah.
Like, he's just going to look at his phone for a little bit and hang out in the waiting room. So he finds this video that talks about how Walter's been experimenting with himself with Gamma and how he turns into something called the Sasquatch. Because Gamma just does whatever it needs to do.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah. It brings out the inner beast. That could be a Sasquatch or a Hulk or, just really any kind of beast that you could be a Doc Samson.
Or the leader, or a gargoyle.
You're either a literal beast or a beast in the bedroom.
Exactly. Hell yeah. Buddy. So Sasquatch comes in. He's super mad. He smashes up the lab because he's mad Banner was watching his videos.
Mm-hmm.
And you think you're going to fight here. Banner looks like he's about to turn to the Hulk, but then Sasquatch goes and turns back into Walter and says, sorry about that. I have a cure.
Yeah, by the way,
okay.
I almost got real mad, but I did bring some blue ice, and I have just enough for 2 doses. Just really crazy.
Let's get together in this like weird duo, this double situation of us being inside pods. So.
And at this point, everyone's kind of grouping up on this lab. So the villagers find the kid, and they're also like. Oh, they find the tracks. They find the kid's tracks, and they're following that. The kid still following this. He goes to Walter's house, who he thinks is the Hulk's house. He's like, maybe this is where Hulk lives. Let's go knock on the door and see if he's home. And I'm like, kid, you were fucking killing me. That door is not Hulk sized.
Yeah, the Hulk just lives like the Hulk has a small piece of real estate in Canada. Like he's like Solid Snake between games.
He's just got a log cabin that he goes to chill out.
Yeah.
I guess that's how he beats the Wolverine. I mean, that's where the Wolverine came from, right?
There's an episode later that takes place in Canada. Part of it, this is so boring. This is the part, it lost me at the ice and it loses me with the hunting party and stuff. But we're going to come back to Canada with an episode that was supposed to guest star Wolverine, but they couldn't because of the X-Men animated series reasons. So
that makes sense.
We get no Wolverine, and we actually get no Alpha Flight. We just get this character who is in Alpha Flight.
Yeah. So Walter turns on this machine. He makes a production to say like, oh, it'll be fine. Bruce says like, wouldn't it be bad if it surges? And he's like, no, it's going to be fine. He turns it on. It immediately starts surging.
and surprisingly, nobody destroyed a transformer. Right?
No, it just happened on its own because it
just happens all the.
Walter's kind of a shitty scientist. I mean, he's Sasquatched himself once.
Yeah, it just happens.
But what happens? What finally triggers Banner is that he sees the kid walk into the lab as this whole thing is about to explode. So he hulks out to grab the kid and get him out of the explosion, which causes this whole thing to explode and causes, as we're going to find out very quickly, the Sasquatch Walter's now frozen as the Sasquatch. He can't turn back into a human. The blue ice is the opposite of what he needed. He needed black ice.
Yep. He needed any other kind of ice. Hulk sets the kid down by his lake, says, his friend is safe. Sasquatch says he's going to be the Hulk forever, this beast forever. And they get into a little bit of a fight here, because Sasquatch is not taking this very well. They're fighting. The kid gets kind of dragged into it, trying to help because he's an idiot. Just lots of like throwing themselves back and forth, throwing rocks and stuff. They land on this lake. The lake starts cracking and the kid is on it. And the kid throws his dog to safety, which is, good on the kid, but falls into the water. And Hulk has to save him. And this is what snaps Sasquatch out of his angry rage, was that he almost killed a kid.
Yeah.
So he pushes himself on a glacier and sends himself out to sea.
Yeah.
Kind of weird move.
Like you do.
You know? Yeah, as you do as a Sasquatch. Like, can't walk. You know, like, this is, instead I'm going to take a little ride.
Presumably on the other side of that glacier is like 1,500 penguins that he's going to just munch down on while he's
going to have to.
I mean, like, what else is he going to do? Like, he's just on a glacier.
He's going to the Atlantic.
Being a Sasquatch doesn't make you immortal, to my knowledge. You're still a thing. You got to eat.
Extremely weird. It's a weird move. Like, when he leaves, he's just like, I am a beast, and a beast must live alone.
Oh, he gives a whole fucking monologue about it. It goes on forever.
Yeah. And it's also like, is that the message we want here for the Hulk? Because the Hulk is learning, that he has friends and stuff. Is that's not what a beast should have to be. That's like the theme of these 2 episodes. It's like
beasts are bad.
Beasts are bad, and you have to go off and live alone forever. The villagers show up and they start circling the Hulk, and the kid says like, no, he helped me. The kid hugs the Hulk. The dad realizes the kid was right. Dad apologizes. He's like, I was wrong. He starts trying to say like, listen, we were both wrong. Which is very funny.
They trade Facebook information, so now they're real good friends on Facebook. They can monitor each other. They follow each other.
They'll never see each other again, but they know what each other had for lunch.
Sure. Yeah.
And Shield shows up finally. Like, it takes a weirdly long time, so he decides to leave. The little kid is like, no, Hulk, stay. Like, what does that look like?
I have no man. Like, what is he like? Is he gonna like the father is gonna be like, okay, but you have to feed it and clean up after it?
Yeah,
if
it turns into a human. This turns into a man every once in a while, right?
Yeah,
you can't have a pet man. And that name for that down south.
And that man has needs.
Yeah, you cannot just kids. You don't get to own people. We don't do that in America.
We don't do that in Canada. Jesus,
like in Canada, maybe you guys do that, but in America, we don't own people anymore. I mean, we had a long period of doing it, but now we are over it. So you don't get to own sentient beings. Hulk leaves. Gabe from S.H.I.E.L.D. shows up, and I don't really understand this. Like, some Mounties show up, and like, they're going to stop him from pursuing the Hulk, but also they're just like, hey, we got our own jurisdiction here, don't you know? Like, I don't really understand, like, why you can't just be like, we're S.H.I.E.L.D., we have jurisdiction here too, that's why we're here.
Or I'm just going to get on my hovercraft and leave. Like, I don't need your pitchfork asses surrounding me anymore. I can just go.
Does your pitchfork and your snowmobile fly? I don't fucking think so.
There's a green dot jumping east. I can just follow the motherfucker. Like, he's not that subtle about this stuff.
Yeah, why would he stop? It's very weird. It's a weird power play that I feel like should not work.
We didn't actually talk about the weirdly facilitated Canadian accents on all of these people too, by the way, because it goes from I would say just normal like Los Angeles voice actor accent all the way up to Jeremy pretending to be a Canadian accent, and then all the way to like just a completely ridiculous person trying to pretend to be a Canadian accent. It's very crazy and all over the place.
Like they're not good, and the kid's accent is not Canadian at all.
No, not
making this kid a little French Canadian would have been a good move.
Just anything besides this like raspy, hey little mama, let me whisper in your ear voice.
Yeah, he sounds like he's in the fucking the Black Crows or something. It's like a little
around here. Oh wait, you said Black Crows, not Counting Crows.
It's like Sparkly the Black Crows.
Counting Black Crows, counting Black Snuggly the Crow.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just a weird kind of dumb episode, and I don't understand what theming we're supposed to get from it.
Me either. And I think both of these episodes, like they're relatively entertaining. I think we keep talking about it. Like, they're functional, and they're not necessarily like completely terrible. Although I will say, like, the animation on Ghost Rider in the first episode, I didn't talk about his motorcycle like I wanted to. I forgot to, but all of this, like, they just made this dude look uncool as possible, which it blows me away, because like even the flame tires are like, which should look great, don't look cool at all. So I don't know what the fuck they were doing.
He's not a hard character to make look cool.
He's a flaming skull. He's basically the image of school since Dungeons and Dragons started. Like, I mean, what are we doing?
The coolest thing you could even imagine.
Yeah.
They just don't make him look cool. So.
Ridiculous.
But, the episode, again, watchable, well-paced. The second one, the pacing is a little bit bad. It's a little bit boring, but it's still interesting and fine. The next 2 episodes are big guests. I'm really looking forward to them. The next episode is Doctor Doom. The episode after that is Fantastic Four.
Nice.
Very excited about that, actually. And then second season, I've been looking at the previews of that, and that looks phenomenal. Like, I really want She-Hulk to show. She-Hulk shows up in the next set of episodes, actually. And I want to see her, and I want to interested in her joining the cast and seeing what that does to things. I think that they're realizing that having a main character that is like an idiot who grunts all the time is proving to be difficult.
Oh man,
who would have thought?
If only they knew that Charlie Sheen would come along and be the best-selling sitcom actor of all time.
Exactly.
Whoops.
2.5 Hulks.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I'd probably watch 2.5 Hulks.
Can't believe I didn't go Home Improvement with that joke, because that's literally a dude grunting for like 8 seasons. I really missed the opportunity there. Yeah, I'm excited about the next 2 as well. Like those, I've watched a little bit of that Fantastic Four cartoon because we were talking about watching it for a little while. So, and I think there's some really weird characters in that Fantastic Four universe, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they adapt to the Hulk.
Me too.
So yeah, we'll be back in 2 weeks with that. Gary, this episode comes out this weekend, so we should probably talk about Duckstream a little bit.
Oh yeah, Duckstream 2018 on the 14th of December. That is the first night for 48 hours. As per usual, we'll be raising money for the Transactive Gender Center. We don't have the info, like the ability to donate or anything. We don't have that up yet, but that will be soon. But of interest to listeners of this show, we'll be recording a live episode like we did last year at 6 p.m. PST. And we will be talking about the Wolverine.
I thought we already covered the Wolverine.
We will be talking about the second one.
The Wolverine. The Wolverine, the second. This is the one with
samurai and loses his powers.
Yeah, that one. Which I've
never seen.
You've never seen this one?
Nope.
Wow. I hope you don't have any expectations going into this thing, because
what if I love it?
Gary, if you love it, this podcast is going to have to change dramatically. I'm going to have to kind of take over the reins and like really question your taste anytime you say anything. Like you're like, I think the theming in this episode is good. I'm going to be like, Gary, you liked the Wolverine. Like I can't really talk. I can't trust anything anymore. I don't think there's any chance that you'll like it. It's been a long time since I've seen this. Maybe this will be like an X-Men 3 turnaround for the both of us. But my whole issue with that movie is like he's running around without his powers for a long time. Also, it's in like he's running around in like Japan, which as I think listeners of the show know is like that's not the cool Wolverine stories to me.
No, that's boring.
Also, spoiler: there's like a 10-foot tall or like a 20-foot tall samurai robot. I think is how I remember that movie ending. So. It's no motorcycle rocket dive, but it's something. But yeah, come if you're listening to this on the public feed, or excuse me, on the early feed, it'll be next weekend. If you're listening to this on the public feed, it's happening as you're listening to this. Like if you're listening to this the day it came out, I'll be in chat pretty much all weekend and trying to jazz people up and make jokes. Come out, donate. We always come up with some very ridiculous memes and bullshit throughout the episode of this, especially as the boys get very, very tired. So come and be a part of it. It's one of my favorite parts of the year, and I'm so happy I get to participate every time it comes up.
I think it's going to be extremely fun. We'll have a schedule and stuff up like that too. We have things planned. Lots more this year. Slightly less games, more like podcast stuff, more like talking and stunty type.
Yeah.
So gonna be real fun. And we're also doing a variety of games. I think that the way that we're structuring Duckfeed West or Duckstream West this year is to do blocks where like everybody who's going to be on the couch gets like a segment where they're just going to play a game kind of by themselves. Everybody else will be there to talk and everything, but like play through a game or play a game, and then multiplayer stuff, of course, and like party games, but then also a third of it being weird podcasty dumb goof 'em ups.
Absolutely.
Stuff. So I think it's gonna be fun. We got to come up with some donation incentives and things like that. That's all on the docket for this week. Yeah, we're really looking forward to it, and it's also one of my favorite parts of the year. Like I'm really happy that I'm able to raise money for this cause that I really love.
And if you're listening this far in the future, like we're probably going to be doing this again in 2019 in December, but if you want to support the show, patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv is the most direct way to do that. Lots of cool tiers, lots of cool rewards there. You can also leave a review on Apple Podcast or Google Play or Stitcher, or there's like 1,000 places to leave a review nowadays. So just go do that. Just drop it in a bottle and throw it into the ocean. I'll get it. I'll put it up. Don't worry.
Yeah, it'll show up at some point. We have a Google alert set for the ocean.
Yeah. Yep.
So we know when things get tossed in the ocean with our name on them.
Yep. Surprisingly, a lot of trash Jeremy's get thrown into the ocean. It's just it's a weird situation.
It is weird, but the more you think about it, the more sense it makes. Yeah. So it is. It's good and fun. We look forward to you guys doing it and you guys listening and everything. Yeah, and you know what to do. We really appreciate it.
Yeah,
and,
we'll be back in 2 weeks with
it.
more Hulk chat. And until then, stay hulky, everybody.
Hulk it up.